Okay, so today's story is the title is Sharing in the Early Church. About 5,000 people now worship with the apostles at Jerusalem. These believers worshiped God together in Solomon's porch in the temple. Among them were some who earned just enough to buy food and clothing. Others were in need. Still others had plenty and enough to share. Those who had more than they needed shared until everyone had enough. Their hearts were filled with love for one another. Barnabas owned a piece of land. He sold it and laid the money at the apostles' feet. The apostles used the money to care for the poor and the needy. Those who had houses or lands or goods did the same thing. Among these followers, none were hungry or without shelter. Ananias and his wife Sapphira had a piece of land too. They sold it, intending to give the money to the apostles. After seeing the money, they did not want to give all of it. They decided to take most of it to the apostles and keep the rest themselves. But we will pretend to give it all, they agreed. Ananias took his bag of gold to the apostles. Peter did not praise Ananias. Instead, he looked at him and said, "Ananias, why have you let Satan tempt you to lie to the Holy Spirit and keep back part of the money? The land was your own. After you sold it, the money was yours. You didn't have to give it unless you wanted to. Instead, you pretended to give all. You have not lied to men, but you lied to God." When Ananias heard these words, he fell dead. 3 hours later, Sapphira came looking for her husband. Peter asked her, "Did you and your husband sell your land for this amount of money?" "Yes," Sapphira answered when she saw the amount. Then Peter asked, "Why did you and your husband agree to do this wrong?" And Sapphira too fell dead. Great fear came upon the early church and upon those who were not believers. Everyone was afraid to pretend to be a believer unless his sins had been forgiven and he was doing what was right.